Chronicles, another edition of the Balcony Chronicles. I am your host, Talking Crazy 88, here with my co-host, the Bolivia Oscuro cigar, one of my new favorites now. Beverage of choice is my Stop and Shop dark roast coffee. There you go. It pairs well with the cigar. So how's everybody doing on this beautiful Sunday afternoon? Hope everybody's doing very well. I'm not going to keep you too long because I know you don't want to hear the ramblings of an old man sitting on the balcony smoking a cigar. You have better things to do than to listen to an old man rambling on about life while smoking a cigar on his balcony. All right, let me go ahead and turn my ugly mug away. There we go. That's a better view. I want to look at that rather than looking at my ugly face all day long for the next couple of minutes. Well, as you know, there was a case where a white woman who got into an altercation, I think up in, I think it's Rochester, New York, or Rochester, Minnesota. I don't know. But turns out that she had words with a little boy, a little black boy that was up there. It had to be Rochester, Minnesota, because it had something to do with a Somali guy. Bitch claimed that this little boy had stolen something from her and gave her the right to call him a nigger, with a hard ER. And the brother and the black man, the Somali man, who decided to record this shit, also called him a nigger. So I flipped him off. I saw the video. So I'm not going to recap it. But I will say this, that she was found guilty on disorderly conduct on the man, but not guilty of disorderly conduct for calling the little boy a nigger. But of course, they're going to appeal it. But with what funds, you may ask? Well, I saw it's not a GoFundMe, but there is I forgot the name of it, but it's a crowdfunding source that she received about $800,000 from people who believe that this was a First Amendment violation of her rights to call a black man and a black child a nigger. See, this is what the white folks have been waiting for all these years. You gotta remember, these guys, white supremacy, they play chess, not checkers. All right. They've been crying about having the right to call a black man or a black woman a nigger without any consequences of it, because white folks have done it. And they've done it on social media while they were being recorded, and this gets posted to social media, and then they happen to lose their job because of it. They happen to lose their job and their reputation. Well, I told you folks, black men, your reputation is important. They don't mind losing their reputation insulting another black man. So, of course, they're going to take this up to the Supreme Court, and they're going to fight it out. They're going to appeal it, go to the highest court in the land to see whether or not that this woman has a right, a God-given right to call a black man or a black woman or a black child a nigger. Because she was so angry at, child probably stealing something from her. Probably the child did, I don't know. had no business stealing from anybody. So that's a character issue that the parents got to fix real quick. But this woman was so smug, and during her trial, she couldn't believe that she was found not guilty. I mean, she was found guilty. And I'm not going to go over and rehash how ugly the word is, and I don't believe black men and women, particularly black men, should be using that word towards each other. I know I've used it because I'm conditioned to use it through media and social media throughout. When I was growing up, I heard the word so often that my teeth is, I heard, and even I've said it until I said it so much that my teeth is white, has turned white. But we got to have some, but like I said, black men, we have to have some standards and boundaries. I have a friend of mine who won't allow me to use that word in his presence. And he's a black man. See, yeah, you gotta have men like that who have character, who have enough character enough to say, "Hey, man, don't use that word around me." Use it on you use it in your own home, and use it on your own time. But when we get together, man, don't use that word around me. Once again, I don't fuck with white folks or anybody that uses that word. I mean, I give a brother, now, you may say that it's contradictory. You may say it's hypocritical, I'm talking crazy, that I give a brother a pass because he doesn't know better. But I gotta let him know, hey man, let's hold off on that. Let's hold off on using the nigga, man. There are better ways to describe another black man besides referring to him as a nigga. Or nigga. And that's why I have this platform. I know I've used the word. I know I use the word nigger on my platform, my podcast and live stream, and I'll let you know that I'll be the first one to let you know that I was wrong. All right, I was wrong for using that type of language on my podcast. Look, we're in the 21st. We're 25 plus years into the 21st century. We have to move beyond the 20th century antics of our ancestors and the white man's ancestors. But this white woman got a bag, and that's the sad part. This bitch is going to get rewarded. She put on the crowdfunding source that, hey, I've been getting death threats. I need to relocate for my safety. Bitch, we already know your name. No matter where you go, people going to know about what you did. And to be fair, there are some white folks out there that won't tolerate this shit. All right? Kind of like what Chud the Builder was doing. He was running around there looking like an idiot. And you got white idiots trying to build it, till this day still trying to bail this motherfucker out of jail. For what? Keep that motherfucker in jail. Because he's stupid. I'm gonna say he's racist, but he's also stupid. And you know, when you're stupid, you're a dangerous person. I mean, running up on a black man, trying to kill him. Nah, he needs to stay in prison. He needs to stay in jail until his trial. If he gets convicted, Cool. If he gets convicted and sentenced to prison, cool. I'm all right with that. But it seems like nowadays people want to. We live in a new society now where we can't whoop somebody's ass, over words. We never could, but there was an understanding that we don't use that language. That white folks never use that language around us. Black Americans. They know the difference between a black American and an African. Now the Africans, they can tolerate that shit. All right, they'll tolerate that shit. All right, me as a black American, I ain't. Nah. No. And I'll give you a good example about it. There's a YouTuber, a content creator named Thorough Des. Now, this is a Nigerian that runs around in. It's kind of hard to explain because I think part of it is a skit, and part of it is, I think is more performative. But he's going to these white spaces, getting hurt, getting called a nigger, and some white folks saying some crazy shit and doing some crazy shit. These old white women flirting with him. It's kind of hilarious. But he even admit that he's been called the hard ER, the nigger, the hard ER. But he's a Nigerian. So it doesn't hit well. I mean, I don't see. I can never understand. I know why this brother is doing it, because he's developing content. That's what he's supposed to do. He's creating content and putting that out there to for a market of people that enjoys his content. I happen to enjoy it. I don't enjoy the white trash hillbilly rednecks, but because when you really think about it, as a black American, I don't go into their spaces like that. We ain't cool like that. The hillbillies, the rednecks, the white trash, I don't fuck with them like that. Matter of fact, I leave those motherfuckers alone. Okay? I leave the women alone. I leave men alone, the white men alone. I leave them alone. I do not fuck with them. Why? Because I'm going to end up killing one of them. And I'm going to go to prison. And I don't want that to happen. So I leave them alone. I leave these people alone. All right? But as white folks, they can't leave us alone. They live in an all-white enclave, but they still talking about a nigga that had words with it. That we're a problem. They talking about, those black folks, they're a problem in society. We're woke. We're too woke. We live in a woke society because of black folks. We want to get rid of DEI. And they live in an all-white enclave. But here's the thing. And I'm going to lose a lot. I'm going to lose a lot of viewers, subscribers, but I don't really care. And I'm going to be honest with you. I think that I think that the white folks should get rid of DEI. I think they should. And it's not because I don't want to see black men and black women get opportunities to work for corporations. All right? Why are we fighting to get into these white men and white women's corporations, businesses, to get a job through there? Why are we fighting to get a job through them? We, as Black Americans, we have the most creative minds. We have the best. We're the best and brightest, and we have the best and brightest in this country. Why can't we just form our own? Why can't we form our own businesses, form our own economy, create our own economy? Well, we wouldn't have to rely on working for AT&T, IBM, Jack in the Box, McDonald's. Why do we have to have these programs for merit? Now, they're up there talking about merit. What that means is bringing in qualified white folks to work these jobs, to work at these corporations. All right? Now, I may not have a full understanding of DEI. Maybe y'all can explain it to me. Because I don't really keep up with that shit. Because I don't, I don't apply for jobs anymore. I'm sorry. Ever since I got my enrolled agent license, I've been working for myself. I haven't applied for a job in almost 3 years. What the fuck it look like that I'm walking in to an office, if it's not my office, if it's not Talking Crazy 88 Industries, all right? If it's not if it's not an office that I've created, why am I busting my ass to get on the subway, travel an hour and a half to a job, to work with people I know who I wouldn't even share a bus seat on, much less work with. Come back with some bullshit, do my 8 hours plus an hour for lunch, get back on the subway for an hour and a half to go home, or hang out at the bar for a little bit for happy hour, and then take my happy ass home. See, I already lost 3 hours of my day traveling to a pitiful job where I'm getting fucked with on a daily basis, where my job is on the line every goddamn day. All right? I don't enjoy the work. I don't like the work. I don't like what I'm doing. I don't like the people I'm around. I think my manager is an idiot, but why am I doing this shit? Why am I wasting my time? Why am I wasting my life? Why is my stress level up? All right? Why? I figured it out when I read this book, and I'm rereading this book. Let me show you. Let me show you the book. And I think every black man should go ahead and get this book. I dusted it off a few days ago, and I'm just rereading it. And I'm taking notes. The Success Principles by Jack Canfield. It'll help you get to where you want to go in life. All right? Instead of standing around holding your dick, looking crazy. All right? Because number one, you wouldn't really give a fuck about DEI anyway. Yeah, you can boycott Target. I don't really give a fuck about Target. I don't shop there anyway, so fuck it. I haven't shopped there in 2 years. Walmart is another one. I go there more often when I go down to South Carolina. Get my shopping on there in Wally World and get the fuck out of there. I just have to be careful not to shoplift out of there or get accused of shoplifting. Because Walmart, their security systems is right up there with Las Vegas. When you try to cheat the casinos, or you try to rob from the casino, steal from the casinos, they got you on video. You're on video, my brother. Even at lowly Walmart, Wally World. And when they catch you, they're going to prosecute you. All right? Yeah, because they got you on tape, motherfucker. So I advise you not to get into no bullshit while you're in Walmart. But like I said, this woman is going to get paid. She's going to get $1 million out of calling somebody in there. From dumbass people around the world who felt bad for her. That she had to go to trial and get convicted of disorderly conduct. She actually let this go to trial. Okay? Ain't got a conviction. I see what these white folks are doing. They ain't stupid. Kind of like that punk ass bitch down in the university who couldn't get into the University of the University of Texas, Abigail Fisher. Wanted to blame black folks and DEI for not getting in. But you know what it is? The bitch just had bad grades. At the end of the day, she had bad grades. That's what the Supreme Court determined. Look, it wasn't because affirmative action. There was a special program where even if you had under a 3.0, they factor in various factors, and she didn't really qualify for that program. You just had they just determined that the bitch just had bad grades. And white folks wasted a whole lot of time and money trying to challenge it. And they look stupid. So they're gonna go this route. So they're gonna give this bitch money. Hopefully you'll retire. You just gave this bitch retirement money. I just want y'all to know. I just want to let y'all know that you just gave this bitch retirement money to sit on her ass, to be a victim because she called a black man and a black child a nigga. All right. I just want to let you know the stupidity of it. It's kind of stupid to me when you really break it down, but. Maybe she's going to get some attorneys and actually challenge it, actually appeal the decision, and it gets denied, and it goes up to the Supreme Court, the writ of certiorari. And hopefully, giving white folks the right to call a black person a nigger. That's going to be your win in life. That $1 million is going to be worth it because I know she ain't going to get another job. Nobody's going to be fucking with her. Hold on for a second. I'll be right back, man. folks, I'm back. I had to put some more lighter fluid in my torch. Like I said, you know, well, racism, white supremacy. I mean, everybody wants to get paid off of black suffering. I mean, she's gonna be in hiding because somebody's gonna get at it. Even other white folks want to get at it for this bullshit. Not because they're empathetic for black folks. But, you know, you're off code. You ain't supposed to be doing shit like this. And that's what Chud the Builder was doing. He was hella off code. You don't see a lot of white folks running around calling black folks niggas. Openly doing it. And the cowardly thing to do is to openly do it while having a weapon on you. A lot of good did him. Because now he's sitting in a fucking prison. Speaking of racism, white supremacy, I heard that George Zimmerman was homeless and destitute. You know, after the 2013 Trayvon Martin acquittal. And I talked about that on my podcast. The white folks, like I said, this is white folks getting other white folks off, you know, giving them a second chance, protecting them. But they didn't really do much for him. But here's the thing. Most white folks, they just did that as an affront to, you know, to go against black folks. They did that not to go. They didn't want to do the right thing because they know this guy's a fucking degenerate idiot. He wasn't no goddamn hero. He was a fucking idiot. So that's why he's in hiding right now. He's homeless and hiding and in destitute. All right. You think white folks are going to try to support this guy, this loser? They probably are. They're probably sending a few butts here and there. But he was such an asshole. Selling the gun that he shot Trayvon Martin with. Bragging about it. Bragging about bragging about shooting an unarmed boy. Under the surface, white folks do not like that. That's kind of cowardly. They don't really take too kindly of cowardice. That's why when they run into me, they know I'm going to fight. They know I'm going to go upside your head. Fucking with me. Well, you know, that's just a tragic tale. I'm going to be following that, and I'll keep y'all updated on what's going on with white folks that are destitute. And the last thing I want to talk about is Michael Anthony Hall became a father at 55 years old. He finally met the love of his, let me do it. Quote unquote, the love of his life and his soulmate. What I tell y'all fellas about soulmates, man, there is no such thing as a soulmate, all right? There's no such thing as a love of your life. You're just happy with the bitch, what you got right now. That's what it is. The bitch is happy with you. You're happy with the bitch. And he became a first-time father at 55 years old and loving it. Well, I tell you, fellas, it's greater later. He finally found what he wanted later on in life. course, he's a celebrity. He has the money, power, and fame. Love the movie Weird Science. And like I said, I'm happy for him. I'm happy for any brother. And this applies to brothers out here, man. If you ain't got no children at 50 years old, which is me, I'm 52, I have no children, thank God. I'm not on child support like y'all. I can happily go on with my life and be free to do things that I want to do in my life. All right, without no punk ass bitch and no crumb snatching children, standing in my way. Now, do I have a regret that I should have done it earlier? Yeah, probably. I don't know. I don't know. I got bogged down with life, Life happens when you have a bullshit college degree and a bullshit graduate degree, and you have to find your footing. You have to find your calling in life. And that's why I read that book, The Success Principles. Now, every black man should be reading this book. And I highly recommend it. But like I said before, there is no such thing as a soulmate or the love of your life. Because any relationship, and every relationship can end at any time. Whether she wants to get rid of you, or you found out that she farts too much in the bed, and she has athlete's foot, and toenail fungus, and you just can't tolerate that. You can love her, but you can't love her through that. You're going to get rid of her for whatever reason, or she just died. She might just die on you. She might just get sick and die. All right, there is no soulmate. There is no love of your life. If you're running up here saying, "Yeah, talking crazy," that's not true. We've been together for 20 years, and that's my love of my life. I'm like, all right, man. All right, do you? Don't let an old man smoking a cigar on a balcony deter you. Let me run your life. This is what I believe. This is what I've observed. There is no soulmate. There is no soulmate. There is no love of your life. Look, let me just say this, man. You don't know how many grave divorces that are out there now, that these old bitches are filing divorces on their men after 30, 40, maybe even 50 years of marriage. And look, it almost happened to Judge Mathis. Why? Because he was working too much. He was working a lot. Like, fuck you getting a divorce for? I mean, I guess in her mind, he's not around. What would be the purpose of being married if my husband is not around? He's over here working 24 hours a day. We don't get to go to this event. We don't get to go to weddings. We don't get to go to family events. We don't get to go to events with our dinner parties with our friends. I gotta explain to everybody that he's on a plane. He's on a plane to Memphis to a conference, to speak at a conference. He's over at in Los Angeles going to Folsom Prison to talk to prisoners. He's doing everything else except take care of business at home. I mean, he's doing his part, like going out there and doing for his family, working for his family, working and providing a stable income for the family. That's what a man is supposed to do. He's doing his job. He's doing what he's supposed to. But the other side of the equation, if you're a family man, you got to be a family man. So she felt like that I'm going to take the devil's advocate on this one. She felt like that his wife Linda felt like, well, what's the purpose of me being married to this guy if he's not around? I'm going to let him go ahead and do his thing, and I'll do my thing. We can be friends. You know, and I saw an interview with Ice-T. He's, you know, some of y'all, and including myself, until it clicked. It started to click. Whenever you get together with somebody, it was meant to be a short story. It was never meant to be a novel. Take it as it is. You know, I've been slowly but surely trying to get that mindset that every time I meet someone, it's going to be a novel. That we're going to be together for a while. And it's not always that way. You know, the women that you fellas are going to meet, y'all just fucking. All right? Y'all just fucking. You know, just be happy that you're getting some money. And that's why a lot of y'all brothers are mad, because when a woman breaks it off with you, because she doesn't feel the same way. She doesn't feel like, like this is a relationship that, you know, it doesn't feel like a relationship. Because I've gotten that before. I've had women, after I got the pussy, have told me, look, you know, I think we should see other people. I don't think we should see each other anymore. And you know what I said? I said, man, that's fine with me. I don't give a fuck. Do I still think about the pussy? You know, it was some good pussy. I think about it, you know, not every day, but I think about it occasionally when I'm not getting no pussy. But there are other women out there. There's a lot of women out there, fellas. You know, that, you know, you'll have a short story. You know, you're gonna see that this is just a short story. This is not a novel. You can move on, be friends, be cordial. I wouldn't say be friends, because there's no such thing as a man being friends with a woman. I don't believe in that. I told y'all about that. There's no such thing as a man being friends with a woman after you've seen her naked. All right? Get that shit out your mind. You can never really be friends. To be honest with you, you can never really be friends with a woman as a man. I don't have female friends, so I don't get involved in that. I don't get confused like that. Because let me tell you something about having a female friends. They get all the benefits of the boyfriend, while you get none of the benefits of having her as a girlfriend. And let me explain that to you. All right? A lot of y'all who are friends with with a woman in your life, what the fuck are y'all be doing? Are you going out shoe shopping? Are you moving shit around? Are you changing the oil in her car? Are you fixing the tire? Is she's the one that's calling you to go ahead and do things for her? What do you do? What does she do for you? Does she come over and cook you dinner every night? Does she bring food over to your house when you're hungry? Does she give you massages after a nice day of work? Does she take you on vacation with her, spending her own money? Does she buy you gifts? Does she take you out to dinner? And when y'all hang out, does she pay for you? Or are you paying for her? Because I know your dumbasses are paying for her. You see where I'm going with this? You see what I'm going with this pimping? What benefits are you getting from being friends with a woman? That's why I don't have female friends. If I'm trying to get at a woman, I'm fucking. Either we're fucking or we're not fucking. If we're not fucking, let me delete your phone number out of my phone, and I'll let you go on about your business, and I'll go on about mine. If we're just friends, then you wouldn't mind picking up the bill. Or going Dutch. Right? We're just friends, right? I'm just saying, I'm just putting it out there for food for thought. Some of y'all fellas haven't really thought about it. What do you get out of being friends with a woman? What? I don't see a benefit for a man. Unless she's actually doing the things that I just said. If she's bringing you food, is she bringing you coffee? Is she coming over to your house just to bring you food or cook for you? Is she doing things that she would do for a boyfriend, but you're not getting any sex out of it? Like I said, I don't see the point of it, but like I said, fellas, you do you. Do what's best for you. Don't listen to an old man smoking a cigar on a balcony trying to make sense of this. Let me see how much time I have left, because I got shit to do. I've been on there for 45 minutes. Let me go ahead and get the fuck out of here. Because I got shit to do today. Listen, this is Talking Crazy 88, and I am out of here. And black men, enjoy your weekend, but let's be careful out there, all right?